Hello guys. Today we'll be having a very interesting conversation, and I have my darling wife with me today, Mrs. Jasmine Apeh Harrison. And my name remains Apeh Harrison. So on today's conversation, we want to talk about something that is very, very critical to our everyday lifestyle in this era, which is phone ethics, how we handle phone calls, how we make phone calls, how we receive phone calls, how we respond to phone calls. Every single person has a measure of favor. There is no one, no human being that is void of favor. However, many persons are stuck in a particular phase, season, or level because they are running out of favor with people. People that they love, people that love them, they are just stuck. The reason why that happens is because they have not come to understand that there is a wisdom and a strategy that is required to attract favor, to grow favor, and to keep favor.
Sure.
It's important to have what it takes to attract favor. Many people have it internally, it's innate, it comes with their with their nature. People easily just like them. So they don't have to do anything to be liked. They don't have to say anything to be liked. People just see them and like them. They have a natural attraction of favor that comes towards them all the time. For some other persons, there must be a deliberate, intentional commitment to doing things and saying things to attract favor, right? Now, it's one thing to attract favor, whether it's naturally or intentionally. Then it's another thing to grow favor. However the favor comes, it will require some kind of commitment and efforts, some servicing to grow the favor. Now, if you're able to attract or to grow the favor, then you have to learn how to keep the favor. You see, and I think that one of the key foundations of favor, either to attract, to grow, or to keep, is communication. How we communicate will determine how we attract favor, how we grow favor, and how we keep favor. You can't actually engineer a life of favor without some kind of communication, whether it's verbal or non-verbal. What I mean is that sometimes what I'm saying is provoking favor. Sometimes how I look is also provoking favor.
True.
So the communication that fuels favor may be verbal or non-verbal. There are simple things that you are doing that is saying something that will either grow favor or kill favor.
True.
At every single point, there's something that we're either saying or there's something that we are doing that will attract favor or kill favor, will grow favor or kill favor, will keep favor or chase favor away. So it's important that we understand the foundation of communication. And in our time and era, one of the primary means of communication is phone calls. You see that now. So the whole concept of this conversation is not because we want to talk about phone calls. We want to see how it impacts on our communication skills and how that invariably impacts on the kind of favor we are attracting, we are growing, or we are keeping. And in some cases, the kind of favors that we are killing by our communication or lack of communication in words and without words. So there are various aspects that I want us to look at, Mrs. Jasmine, all right, as it relates with the concerns that we see around phone ethics. And it bothers me more because there are people that have called me many times. There's a point that people thought that I was arrogant because I wasn't responding to their calls. And it had nothing to do with arrogance or pride. It has something to do with the way they were calling me. I'll give an example. Somebody is calling you he leaves you 5 missed calls. 5 missed calls. And then you find the time to call them back. And they say, oh, sir, I just called to greet you.
Oh, wow.
What kind of greeting do you want to greet me that you leave me 5 missed calls?
Yes, that's an emergency.
I'm a father of 3 children, a husband of a beautiful wife, and I'm a worker, all right? You can't leave me 5 missed calls
to greet me.
You see that now? Now, when I see a missed call from the person the next time,
you won't take it seriously.
I won't take it seriously.
True.
And then you hear things like, he's ignoring me. Meanwhile, when you called me the last time, I was in the middle of a meeting and sincerely could not pick your call. When I had the slightest chance to respond to your call, I called you back, and then you tell me you were calling me just to say hello. How are you? And I say, fine. How are the children? Fine. Okay, are you okay? Yes, I am okay, brother. I just called to say, how are you? Is that why you called me 5 times? Yes. Okay, thank you very much. The natural thing is that that person have just depleted the prospects of talking with me by 20%. And many times when this has happened, they begin to think that the person has another reason for not taking their phone call. Now, it's possible that in the next 2-3 months, I may receive a call from that person, this time with a genuine need, but I may never pick that call again.
True.
So I want to look at very carefully how to manage various channels of conversations. For example, what do we need to know when you are calling a superior, when you are calling somebody senior or somebody respected in your life? What do you need to know? Number 2 is that what do you need to know when somebody superior, senior, or respected is calling you, right? Number 3, what do we need to know when you are calling family and friends? Somebody who is like your friend, who is your pally, who is your guy. What do you need to know? Number 3, also, what do you need to know when they call you or when you miss their calls, right? So that's basically the conversation, Mrs. Jasmine. All right, and I know that you've had your own share of experiences.
Yes.
Tell me.
Well, I'm sure you already know that I am not a phone call person. I don't do well with picking up calls, and it escalated after I started having children because now I'm away from the phone most of the time, or I'm distracted. So when I'm picking up a call, it has to be serious enough for me to pick up that call. It has to be an information you're passing across. So just like you said, calling to say hello, how are you? Although it is thoughtful.
It's a good thing.
It is thoughtful,
it's a good thing.
You know, for you to want to check up on me. But 5 times.
So the real concern is not the motive of the call.
Yes, it's
the nature, the method, the nature of the call. So
yes.
it's okay to call a friend, a sister, a brother to say, hi, how are you doing? Now, the logical thing is that if you're calling a senior person, a superior person, let's start with that, or a respected person in your life, an elderly person, like your boss, your dad, your uncle, someone that you respect, your pastor, someone that you respect, your mentor, whatever it is, a senior person. You know, it may not even be someone that plays a role in your life, but I mean, it may be a client or something.
Yes.
It is not right to leave more than 1 missed call.
I see.
When you call someone who is important in your life, who is respected in your life, and in some cases, who is superior in your life, the best you can ever do, no matter what the issue is to leave 1 missed call. God forbid, if there is a crisis,
Two.
if there is a crisis that really commands the need for
that person,
you cannot leave multiple calls. I mean, we don't pray for crisis. It's only in the scenario of a crisis.
An emergency.
And many times, what we call crisis is not crisis, it's just urgency. I really want, I'm in the bank. They said that the transfer is not going through. You give me a check for a transfer, it's not going through. They have tried 2 times. They only 5 missed calls. That's a crisis. That might be an urgent need, But you don't have to call him 10 times to tell him that. Crisis is when, God forbid, something bad happens to someone, or there's an accident somewhere on site or something, that is crisis. But if you go to somewhere that a superior sends you to, and there's some form of challenge there, let's say he has to go and see this client, give him this document, and you went there and say the client is not available, that might be a challenge, but it's not a crisis. You can call your superior once or twice, and if he doesn't pick, you leave a message. Sir, I'm at the office you sent me to. The client in question is not available to see me now, and he will not be for the next 2 hours. Do I wait here,
or do I return
back to the office? Kindly advise, sir. You see that now? So that is a challenge, but it's not a crisis.
True.
So you have no reason to leave your superior 15 missed calls for that reason. If you call once, or at the most twice, I will recommend once if it's a challenge or a need and not a crisis. The only reason that you will have to call a senior, a superior, multiple times, more than once, is if it's an unquestionable crisis, which we pray should not happen, right? So if it's a challenge, you can leave one missed call and leave a message. So you sent me to buy you this kind of yogurt. I've been to 3 supermarkets. I couldn't find it. Do I return back to the office or get you the alternative? Why are you calling me like this? Because the yogurt, I have not found it. And I don't want to leave here without buying something. That's why I'm trying to call you. But I'm in a meeting. How can the yogurt be more important than the meeting I'm in right now? You see that now? So there's nothing wrong. And then for people who are calling to say hello to you, who may be, calling a superior, it's okay once in a while to call a superior or a senior person or someone you respect to say, sir, I'm just calling to check up on you. How are the children doing? How is mommy doing? How is daddy doing? That's very healthy. As a matter of fact, it's important that every now and then we call people that are important to us just to say hello. It's very important. For no reason, nothing to, something just to gist. Hello, uncle, how are you doing? Long time, I just finished my exams. I thought I should give you a call and let you know how it went. In fact, the money you sent the other time was so helpful. Hi, uncle, how is mommy now? How is auntie? That's very healthy. Very important.
So that they don't feel it's only when you need them
that you call them. But the balance will not be how you make the call. Yeah.
I never knew that. I actually knew.
All right, so calling to say hi is important.
But you don't think that this is specific to you? Do you think that some other superior people might feel that you need to call me, you need to bombard my phone, like for me to know that you need me to answer a question, even if it's not so relevant? For instance, what you said, if you sent your employee to go and buy you yogurt, and you are in a meeting, maybe the guy really likes food and he really wanted yogurt, you understand? And then he's like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you disturb my phone? Like, why didn't you give me 3 missed calls so that I know it is important? It might be important to him, but not important to someone else. So how do you strike that balance?
That comes with profiling.
Yes.
All right. If the person in question, for example, is your boss or your superior at the office, then you can measure, if you are profiled properly, what is really critical to that person.
True.
The thing though is that in most cases, when you deal with a superior, you want to justify how you responded to the situation. So even if you are queried to say, why did you call me 1 million times? You can say, sir, I left you 2 missed calls.
And then
I followed up with a message both to you as a text and on a chat platform. So you can check the timestamp, sir. I called you twice, but I presume that you may have been busy. So I left you 2 messages. It's even more important to leave 3 messages than leave 3 missed calls in some cases. Sometimes here at work, I have our guys call us, or sometimes actually they do the reverse. Sometimes they're on site, there's a demand, and then they leave me a message to say, hello sir, we're on site, this is a concern, we need your attention here, here, here. I may not be able to respond for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes. If it's urgent, then they follow it up with a phone call, not the reverse. So the way that we have trained our people, exactly, they know that I'm most likely busy with a client, I'm in a meeting somewhere, I'm doing something important, so they leave a message first. And if after 20 minutes or 30 minutes they don't get a response, they now call me, and they will usually emphasize to say that we left you a message some minutes ago, we didn't hear from you, but we just failed to follow it up with a call because we need to get your decision on this now. You see that? And if they call me and I don't pick, they will send another message again. That way now, if I was in a meeting and I didn't see their chat, for example, and my phone was on silent, their call will preempt me to see that something must be up. So when I see their missed call, I go straight to my chat. I say, oh, they left me a message, and I'll quickly respond to them. So it's important to profile a person, okay? And sometimes if you profile a person rightly, you can tell if he would have preferred you to call him 5 times.
Or not at
But
all.
I can tell you for a fact that except the person has a chronic illness of idleness, nobody wants to be called 5 times in a row.
True.
Nobody wants it.
True.
You know, the phone ringing back to back doesn't help anybody. Some people, I know that mothers have the gift of leaving phones somewhere.
It's a gift.
It's a gift, okay? Mothers and wives, they have a special grace.
No, you're just.
I speak for all husbands, and
It comes with the territory.
it comes with the territory. It's like while she was a chick, she was all over her phone.
Yeah, what?
The moment they just become Mrs.
I don't need it.
and become mommy, somehow the mobile phone becomes landline. All right. So usually mothers tend to leave phones somewhere and then attend to children every now and then. Attend to food. Attend to different needs. Even work. Even work or trying to take a nap.
Yes.
Maybe they've done all of this work. They are really exhausted. They have to take a nap for 2 hours, 1 hour. Put their phone on silent. So sometimes you won't need more than one call. But I mean, even with you, I hardly call you more than once.
Yeah.
All right. Even when I know that, it's very likely you may have left your phone somewhere. When I'm out of town, you can affirm. When I'm out of town and I'm calling you for something very important, usually I call you once. And if you don't pick, I call someone else in the house.
Yeah.
And I ask, is mommy sleeping? Is mommy around? Is she in the living room? Please, if she's close by, give her the phone. And sometimes I would have even left you a message
before doing
that. And if you don't respond, then I call someone else at home and say, or if you're at work, I call you at the office and say, please, is mommy close by? Please give her the phone. Is she busy? Oh no, she's not busy. Oh, she's busy with the client. Okay, no problem. Tell her to call me back when she's done.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I don't think that there's anyone who really enjoys to be called a million times.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that you must have the respect for people's present commitments. That it's possible that someone may be doing something, and don't be too quick to saying that he ignored my calls. All right? Usually there's a reason why. Now, for you to say that he's ignoring me should be after you have left them messages. When you have called them and they don't answer, you leave messages. When they don't answer to that again, then you may be able to say, he or she
doesn't want to speak to me.
Exactly. And then in some cases, call someone close by to say, is this person okay?
The person might be sick.
You know what I mean, right? Because sometimes the person is sincerely not disposed, all right? But many times, a lot of our young people do not have that courtesy, that ethics when it comes to phones. Even when they are calling, so let's come to the scenario where a superior calls you or calls me and I'm not able to pick, because that also happens. I have clients who call me, and for example, right in this moment now, I might have a call, but in this moment I can't take the call. However important the client is, I want to take the call, but I may not even see the call because right now
you're busy.
My phone is turned, the network is turned off, right? So I can't take the call for some reason, or I might have the network turned on, but I'm with another client, or I'm busy, or I'm doing something very important with my children, with my family, with my wife, so I can't take the call at the moment. There's also a way to respond to that. Usually when you get a call from a superior, and you can't respond right in the moment, it's very proper that you quickly leave them a message.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, sir. Sorry, I'm currently in a meeting. I'm currently doing A, B, and C. Please, can I call you back in a few hours? Thank you very much, sir. Or is there anything I can do for you, sir? Sorry, I'm currently engaged at the moment. Can I call you back later? Or can you please send me a message to let me know if there's anything I can do for you? So that's the way to go around that. You can't see a superior's missed call and wait 3 days to respond. When you see that, you want to try and respond with a message.
I'm guilty.
Quickly, as much as you can,
yes.
to say that. And sometimes we undermine our parents.
True.
You know, we get very busy. For example, my mom loves to call me a lot. My mom doesn't like doing messages. Mama, you know that very well. Yes. She doesn't do it. She calls me like 50 times a week.
Yes.
Okay? So she doesn't like leaving messages. She prefers just phone calls. All right. So usually when my mom calls me, I either put in the efforts to pick immediately. But even when I cannot, I try to call her back as soon as I can. Usually sometimes it's very hard to come around that. Maybe it takes a day to do so, but I try my best to ensure that it does not exceed more than a day. The good thing about my mom though, as you may know, is that whenever she calls me and I don't pick, it is really important she will call you.
Yes.
I say, is your husband around? Is he close by? You know what I'm saying? So even her as my mom respects my time.
Yes.
Okay? And I respect her. So I do my best to respond. This morning she gave me a call, coincidentally this morning, and I was doing something very, very important. You know, very, very important to me. But because I had missed her call yesterday evening, she called me yesterday evening, I couldn't take her call yesterday evening, and I was so tired last night, so I couldn't call her back. So when she called me early this morning, I was doing something very, very important, but so she doesn't get worried, I quickly had to excuse myself and take her call very quickly. But if I had not taken that call, she would have called the second time.
She wouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? So when the superior calls you and you can't respond, it's important to leave a message. Because sometimes too, you may forget to call them back. However important they are to you. Just genuine mistake, genuine oversight.
True.
So once you leave a message, that secures you.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you eventually do forget, you have not offended them. Because somewhere, somehow, you left a message.
Responded, yes.
To say, oh, sorry, I'm somewhere now, please, can I call you back? There are people that call me who are very important to me, that I can't respond to their calls. I try to leave a message. All right? And if you do that long enough, when you eventually forget to respond to them or forget to call them back, they know that Apeh always calls back. Apeh always sends a message. So if you didn't do this time, there must be a very good reason for that. And then, so let's come to when it comes to your pair, your friends.
Yes.
Because that's a very delicate area. Because some of them get easily offended.
Yes.
Babe, what's wrong with you now?
Some don't care.
You know, some people don't care. I've been calling you now. I call you like 5 times. You don't even answer my call. You know. So sometimes when you're calling a friend, I think that you need to also respect what may be going on the other side. Yeah, with a friend, you may be able to leave more than one missed call. Yes, with a friend, you can leave 2 missed calls. Maybe sometimes, if it's really, really important, even 3 missed calls. But even at that, there are 2 things here. Number 1, do not be quick to making a conclusion that they are ignoring your call. You should say, babe, what's up now? Are you okay? You see that, right? They're very, very different. So one time, I think that happened to me. I think a friend tried calling me, I didn't pick, and he went on like, I'm calling you and I got very upset. Even if you were so disturbed about me not answering your calls,
you should be worried.
At least will you be kind enough to check on my welfare first before you assume that I just ignored your call.
Yes.
And so, boy, what's up now? And they call you, are you okay? And they call me back as soon as you can. You know, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or in some cases, even hint them. It may even be a hot gist.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get below. It's a hot gist. It is fresh. You want to hit it hot.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
I bet they call you. They call me sharp, and we get one heavy gist. Call me now. Only the voice notes. You know. So I mean, you can relate better.
Yes.
Because I think that when it comes to this multiple calls for gist, I think ladies probably do it.
Yes. I don't know, because I don't have such friends. I think most of the friends that I have understand my personality when I told you about the phone thing. So usually when they call me once, I have a very good friend who calls if she has an emergency. Maybe she needs to make her hair that very day and she knows that she can't get in touch with the salon, she would call me. That's her only resort. And then when she calls me once, she would leave another call if I don't pick up. And she's a mom like me, so she knows what might be going on behind the scenes. So she would leave a message. Babe, please help me book an appointment. This morning I'll be there by 8 a.m. Sorry for the short notice. And just on the reverse now, it had happened once that I tried to call her like 2, 3, 4 times. She wasn't picking my calls, which was very out of character for her. And I was like, what's going on? Are you okay? I had to send a message. I hope all is well. I hope you're okay. And when I saw her, we actually saw ourselves in front of the school. We're dropping off our kids. And then I saw her and I was like, I've been calling you. Just like what you said, out of character for me. I was like, me, I'm vexing for you. You're not picking my call. And she was like, I'm not okay. You understand? So I had to get back to myself and like, oh, are you all right? I hope. And actually, she wasn't okay. That's why she wasn't taking anyone's call. But if I had seen her in person and be who I expected everybody else to be to me, understanding, I shouldn't have said, what's wrong? I'm upset with you. I should have been, are you okay? I've been calling you and look at you in person. You seem fine. And she was actually going through a very difficult time mentally, emotionally, that I should have been understanding. You understand? So that is why I feel, as you said, profiling also is very important. If you know that this person, what the person is doing is out of character, don't assume the person is trying to ghost you, because that is actually people's fear for peers. That your friend is just trying to ghost you, just trying to run away and not be around you anymore. Don't always assume the worst, I think. Try to find out first. Is the person okay? Is all well? You knew what I was going through when I had our last baby. It was a very difficult time. It wasn't the time I wanted to pick up calls or anything. And the people who knew me, who profiled me properly, understood. Those who didn't left. It's bittersweet, but I think that's what parents really need to understand, that it's not always about you. And if it's about you, try to find out first, is it really about me? And then you know, okay, it's fine. If you want us to go our separate ways, it's fine. So I think it makes plenty sense.
Yeah, so I think that to bring this to a close, I think that it's also important to address those who have a covenant not to pick their calls.
Like me?
You know, not really for mothers. No, not really. I mean, but there are some people really who just have a very bad habit about not picking calls, not responding to messages. You know, it just can't be right.
True.
It just can't be right. I mean, you can't have missed calls from people who are important to you in spite of whatever level they are at. Either they are your superiors, they're your peer, or they're your juniors.
And you don't respond.
I mean, in any of those 3 categories, you can have a reason to justify why you perpetually do not respond to them, especially if they are not violating your privacy.
True.
If I'm important to you, I can't be trying to reach you for 1 week, and your phone is on, you are not out of the country, you're not out of network, your phone, I mean, I call you, your phone rings, day 1, I skip 1 day, call you day 3, skip 1 day, call you day 5,
when
skip
I check
1
WhatsApp,
day, call,
online.
Yes, I see you online, you post a status online, right? But you don't respond to my messages.
That's terrible.
You know what I mean? And like I said, this is not just for people who are just your peer. Even if they are your juniors, or they're your superior, or they're your peer, whichever the 3 categories they fall under, your superior, your friends and family, or your juniors, whether it's family or friend or work, you can't have a reason for such a prolonged time
to ignore.
As far as you are conscious, if you don't have any form of relationship with that person, I cannot understand. It's possible, for example, like I have to do trainings in certain meetings, I have to minister at certain meetings. So people sometimes get my number one way or the other and leave me messages that I will never respond to, right? So that is understandable. I have no connection with you. I have no commitment to you. I have no relationship with you on a personal level. We may have met at an event, but that was it. We knew ourselves for 2 hours, so I don't have any obligation to you. That makes sense. I get all kinds of messages online on my numbers directly that I don't respond to because I have no commitment to them. But when someone is actively in your life, they are actively in your life as a superior, as a friend or family, or as a junior, or someone who is a protege, or a staff, or whatever, or someone, a sibling. I don't see why for weeks after weeks, days after days, they can't get a simple response from you. Even if it's someone who is not, who is a protege or so. Sorry, can we talk next week? Sorry, I'm busy now. Can we talk later? Just a note to acknowledge them is something. You can't have a reason why someone who is in your life should be ignored for days or weeks. I don't see it. Some people may have all manner of reasons. I know some busy people, in my life. That people
so
that
how can you escape not forgetting? For instance, you see a message, you're like, okay, I'll come back to respond to that message. And then you forget. And then it's been a week. Then you remember.
Yeah, so usually when I'm really busy and I get messages on a chat platform or as a text, I try to leave it unread.
Okay, so that's always indicating.
Exactly. So that when I'm less busy, because if I click on it and I open it,
it's gone.
Sometimes, if I open it, that means I have the intention to respond.
And then you think you responded.
Yes. So, in some few scenarios, you may open it and completely forget to respond. But usually, if I open the message, let's say I see a message from someone at the office, or from home, or from a friend that's close to me, an acquaintance that is close to me, or a client, when I open that message, that means that wherever I am, I may be able to squeeze 30 seconds to put down a response.
Okay.
If I know for certain that it's even wrong, let's say I'm with someone and I can't even look at my phone, because sometimes you are with someone or somewhere where you can't even afford to look at the phone. When I'm in that kind of scenario, I don't even try to open the message.
Okay.
So that I don't forget to respond, because if I open it, it's very, very likely that because of how sensitive that moment is, I won't be able to type. If I'm with someone who's, in a very serious moment, I can't start typing a message, when I'm engaging in the conversation or doing something very important. So I don't even open it at all. I leave it and open it whenever I am sure. Even if it's when I'm just walking to the car or walking to the plane or at the airport, anywhere. When I know I can spend 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds to put a reply to just one line, is when I open it to say, I'm so sorry, I'll call you back. Or, so sorry, please call me back in 1 hour.
Okay.
If I'm not too sure about that, I don't respond to it. And I have some people that are very, very important, big names, global names, who do the same thing. Some of them, they even leave an emoji, to put like maybe a thank you sign or something, to just say that I see your message. But that emoji might just be enough to get the response that you need from that message or that call. You see that now? So you can do that. Even when you cannot respond, you can just put an emoji. A thank you sign, a smile sign, a hug sign, whatever it is that may let people know that I see you, I hear you. All right? But we can't have any reason. Because every now and then we all take our phones every now and then and just scroll. We say, okay, let me just see what's going on here. So, how come you miss 15 messages from 15 important people for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you don't respond to it? It just can't be right. So, usually, people make time for what's important.
True.
So many times, if it's really important, if they're really important, you will find a way to spare 1 minute, 1 moment to at least respond to their messages. And like you really said, sometimes it's really kind of painful when you try to reach someone for a week, 5 days, 3 days, 4 days, and the person is important to you and you're supposed to be important to them. They don't respond to you, but you see them updating their status.
Honestly.
You see them online.
Honestly.
All right. And you know that this person manages their account themselves. So like somebody else has their phone updating their status or something. They are doing it themselves. So you wonder, so did he see my message? You know, in some cases, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt and send them another message. Say, I sent you a message 3 days ago, which I've done before. So a friend of mine who is very close to me, I left him a message that was important. He didn't respond for a few days, and then I saw that he updated his status. So I sent him a chat again. So message 3 days ago, you haven't responded to me yet. You know, are you okay? What's up? And then he said, oh, please forgive me. You know, so sometimes you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because, like you said, they may have omitted the message or thought they responded, but they didn't respond. But I mean, if you have done that once or twice to try and still touch base, and they don't respond to you after this, that's quite insulting. Yeah. So my point is that there must be a balance. It's called a mobile phone.
For a reason.
For a reason. It's got a screen, not like the old phones that will not show you history of messages and all that. I mean, the technology we have today will show you the history of calls, history of messages and stuff like that. I mean, you have no reason to keep ignoring calls, ignoring messages as though there is no consequence. You are literally burning out favor, burning bridges for no reason. Something that you can solve with 2 minutes. And if you truly are not disposed, and you tell someone that is meant to be an alliance, a close friend, to say that, look, I'm so sorry, I've been so busy, we have not talked yet. If that person is truly close to you and respects you and loves you, the person should understand that, okay, truly, you know, Jasmine is busy. Truly, Jasmine must be going through something. But you need to put in the effort. 1 minute, 2 minutes to respond. I'm saying that as much as it's not right to bug people with multiple calls, it's also not right to ignore people's attempt to reach you. Even if you cannot be reached at a time, you must find a way to bridge that gap. It's very critical that that balance is there. It's a two-way street. You know, you don't have any reason to bump people's lives, but you also don't have any reason to ignore people who are important to you.
A few moments later.
So we have not talked about, there is one category of people, special people, that they will disappear for like 2 years. Then they'll come back and not leave a message like, hi, what's up? How you doing? How's life? The first thing they say is, you have forgotten me.
Many times it's reverse psychology actually.
Right?
They know they are free, they just transfer the gift to you.
It's so annoying. Some of those messages I don't respond to because I just feel like, why are you being passive aggressive? If you want to reach out to me, reach out to me. But don't come online and start saying, you've forgotten me, so you don't even know I exist anymore.
That's right. And some of them haven't talked to you for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Then the first contact they make is a request.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
The first contact. Bro, it's been a long time. Fine. How is everyone doing? How's work? It's been a long time. I don't know. Is it possible to borrow 50,000 naira from you? Honestly?
No, it's not.
It's not. I mean, you have not talked to me in 2-3 years.
I mean.
And then your very first contact, can't you even just do eye service? Send me message first to say how are you doing? For like 3 days, then by the 4th day. You might hammer and say, hey, please, I don't know if it's possible to know me.
Even God, they say you should come into with praise and not make a request. No. I mean, like, why?
Common sense. Common sense.
It's
Obviously,
so
I mean, this is Awuf Jara. She said that we have to talk about this, so we have to come back just for this.
It's a pain.
It's a pain.
It was for me, actually.
So I'm sure that was a good conversation.
Yes, it was.
All right. So thank you guys. I'm sure that we're going to address other critical issues on phone ethics. I think that, you know, we need to hopefully in one of the episodes talk about how to manage, you know, phone usage, social media, and all of that.
Yes.
I mean, people are just being drowned more in their virtual life than their actual lives. So in some of the episodes, you're going to come back here because we're going to have more heated conversations. Thank you so much. We love you.
Hi.